Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.
Of course you can't hear me. I hadn't even said a word yet, Gumby. You animal. Love you too, boo. Shut up, baby. I know it. Oh, Gumby, I did see your message, man. I just forgot to respond. I'm doing all right, man. Had a busy day today. Long day. Thankfully, I was able to get a nap with Honey Badger. Almost called him APT again. He's graduated from that name. You just reminded me, I gotta send a message. Kick off the stream. Let's see here. Got my Jocko, got my Coda. I think we're good to go. All right, commencing. All right, what's up, everybody? And hope everybody had a very good Sunday today, especially heading into the Easter week. So, yeah, today is my family's Catholic, and so we had Palm Sunday today, where they hand out the palms, and it always just makes Sunday a little extra long during those days. And then today I go to a really small church, and so we have a very small parking lot. And I guess someone assumed I was staying for like the next mass service because they parked behind me. And so, what am I gonna do here? So I got a couple of my buddies to spot me, and I was able to back out between two cars. And I had like 3 inches of gap on both sides. I'm like, ugh, come on, guys, no double parking. Hey, Reb, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a while. How you been? Let me see here. Here, I'll draw this out real quick. This is essentially how it looked, right? So here's my car. I got a car here. I got another car here. There's me. And then there's a car right here. So I was able to finally like pull up a little bit this way and then wiggle out through here with the help of a couple buddies spotting me. But like I said, I think I only had about 3 inches of clearance between both these sides. I had to fold in the side view mirrors. I was like, come on, guys. No double parking. Alright, now if I can remember what the heck we were doing last night. I don't remember what... Oh, I do remember. We were trying to check something on the status of these. We did a lot of C2 with Mythic at work testing and now working on my 3rd Defender bypass. Ooh, nice. Dude, I've just been... it's been a really crazy couple of weeks. And so... I have just been in survival mode, let's call it. So, still trying to kind of keep the streams going. They're a nice distraction. So, the little LangGraph bot here is coming along kind of nicely. Finally starting to work on actually handing off between the different agents. It's just it's been a really crazy couple of weeks. Very, very crazy. Let's see. Oh, it actually told us what line we're on. It's around 61. Yeah, thanks, Gumby. Well, tomorrow is Elijah's funeral, so that's gonna be difficult. In fact, I thought about not streaming tonight um, because I didn't know if I was going to mentally be prepared to handle it. And I thought, let's just go ahead and do it. The coding's not that much of a drain on me. Um, and plus, once I kind of get into the flow of it, it is nice to just kind of be doing something productive, you know. I gotta figure out why this is not functioning. This is a typed dictionary. So what's happening here is we're iterating over these tasks, and for some reason, it does not like how we're accessing it. So we try it like this. Let me check. I gotta check something. Let's see. Python. Predict. Get. Value. How do I do? Been the same boat with my first. It's never easy. Something like that happens. It'll get better with time. Yeah, one of my cousins, she unfortunately went through a pretty messy divorce, and then her ex-husband killed their 12-year-old son. And so she's the one who's been sending me a lot of the messages and like just checking on it, because if anybody kind of understands the situation, it's her. And I remember that I was in high school when that happened, and that was heartbreaking. Yeah. And so yeah, it was really hard on the entire family, but obviously even more so hard on her, because it's just harder on moms. Yeah, I think this must have been around 1998 or 99, because I was still in high school. This happened. And I wasn't very far into high school. And so what had happened was my cousin got married. They had a pretty messy divorce. The husband was very unstable. I didn't even know the guy. We weren't super close cousins. And when I say cousin, she is old enough to be my mother. I have a very large spread out family. So because obviously I'm in high school, she has a 12-year-old son, right? So there's a sizable age difference. But dads took their son. The dad took their son on a camping trip, and when they were out in the woods, just murdered him. So it was that was such a fucked up. So that cousin though is the one who's been reaching out to me, because it's slightly different scenario, but still she did lose her son, and she understands. But yeah, that's who I've been getting a lot of the advice from around that. And of course, it's not like this whole situation. I haven't really talked about it on stream very much. But it's not like the whole situation there hasn't been easier on me, but it has been different. It's been different, and it's been more difficult on my wife, because that is her child, right? And I was explaining it to her. I told her, I was like, hey, moms have, in broad generality, they have dominion over life, right? They bring your children into the world. They take care of them. They feed them. They encourage them. They help them grow. And on the flip side, dads generally have dominion over death. And I'm speaking in very broad generalities here, right? And it's like, because it's men that go off and fight wars. It's men that typically take care of the dangerous jobs where life is on the line, right? And so it's kind of weird in that aspect, because in some ways it makes it a little bit simpler for me to handle, because it's in the dad's domain. On the other side, though, I realized that it's so much harder on my wife, because when a child is very little, it is such a physical relationship with the mom, right? It is incredibly physical, and that transitions to a bit more of like a supportive emotional relationship as that goes forward. It's kind of weird. So like in the beginning, a mom is, and I say it's not weird, it's just this is how it works. You know, in the beginning, mothers are far more physical with their children, and then they switch to like this emotional, supportive, guiding role as they get older. Dads, it's a bit more of that emotional, supportive, guiding role in the beginning, and it becomes a much more physical relationship when the dads can interact and roughhouse and play with the kids, right? And so it hits me differently. Saturday when I took the kid, or yesterday when I took the kids out four-wheel riding, there was a lot of times I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I so badly would have loved to have taught Elijah how to ride an ATV and go out there and go racing. Pretty soon, Honey Badger is going to be old enough to start riding. Also, I have a small ATV for him to ride. It was Agent Zero's, but it's stuff like that, and it constantly just kind of peaks up. So I know that's going to continue happening. But in the beginning, it is, and I don't think it's going to get any harder on me. It's obviously time's going to kind of heal those wounds. But for my wife, I know in the beginning it is so much more incredibly hard on her because of that lack of the physical relationship that was there. So it's been, thankfully, I have a really great company that I work for, and I have 3 months of paternity leave. So I have been able to take copious amounts of time from work to take care of my wife, take care of my family, get them all situated, and make sure that they're in a good spot. So I did talk to my manager. I told her, hey, I do want to come back to work a little early. What do you think about this time frame? So I'm not cutting my paternity leave super short. I'm cutting it a couple weeks short. I just feel like I need to kind of get back into the workflow. But that's about how it's been going. Tomorrow's going to be a rough day. So I'm literally planning to do nothing tomorrow. So, actually, Gumby, I even added a command for it just before the stream started. So, if people come and ask it and I'm not paying attention to the chat, we have something to show them out there. But yeah, I love coming on the stream and hang out with you guys too. It actually has helped me out quite a bit because it just. And actually, so that's one of those other things I talk about. It's like such a fucking wicked double-edged sword is, I know life will eventually have to go back to normal, but it's not the normal I wanted. I wanted stinky-ass diapers. I wanted grumpy baby. I wanted sleep, not able to sleep at night because, got to go pace with the baby because he's got an upset tummy. Trying to give him a bath without drowning him. All the annoying things, because those are the annoying shit that comes with having all the fun stuff. And so that's one of the things my wife and I talk about all the time. Is like, stuff comes up and it's like, man, I wanted that. I did want that. Wanted it so badly, we wanted it 3 times. So. Oh. What? Yeah, exactly. Stock's in the other room yelling at me. It's like, we asked her this 3 times. I'm like, we did ask for this 3 times. And so. My one little final piece of advice, and then I'll move back over to the code, is I get a lot of like some of my friends, and especially in my generation, they're like, hey, it's not a good time to have a child or anything like that. Hey, I get that there are really bad times to have kids. There's no fucking good time to have a kid. There's just gradations of not quite right. There's no perfect time, and if you wait for the perfect time, you'll just never have them. And then you don't realize what kind of awesome memories you have from that. Hey, Squee, what's up? It's never going to be normal when you lose a child because it's been 20 years since I lost my first son. It's still fucked up from it. Yeah. I had friends actually come to me, Gumby, that I did not know had lost children and were telling me about it and offering advice. And so, yeah, I get that. No, it's going to be... Hey, I'll tell you one thing that's also interesting about the whole situation, and I say interesting a lot, forgive me, is that it makes a lot of other problems seems so insignificant. Stuff that used to be a big problem, I'm like, yeah, that's a problem now. It's like it's nothing. It changes your perspective on problems immensely. All right, let me check something here. Backward code. What was I trying to do here? String has no object get. That's weird. Why is it saying that this is... That should have been a string. That should have been a task object. So what are we trying to do with the code? So right now, yeah, back over into the good old hacking code. So where we're sitting right now is... Let's see if I have it here. Yeah, here we go. So this is kind of the diagram of where it sits right now. So when we start up this code, what should happen is it's going to go to a user input node. This is just a stub right now. But what will happen is it will go to an initialization node, get all the code kind of spun up running, hand it off to Stinger. Stinger is going to make a task list and then hand it off to the different agents. So in this case, Recon is the only one that's built out. But I've got a stub for the enumeration agent too that'll just mark all the tasks as complete. So we can just at least see if it's passing the data back and forth. So what I'm doing right now is I'm working in Stinger because I need Stinger to make sure all of its task management setups are correct. Before it then says, okay, cool, well, I've got this. Now I'm going to pass it down to Recon. It'll pass the state table. And then once that's good, we can let Recon go through, do its thing. Recon, once it's completed, it will loop over all of its tasks that gets assigned to it, pass it back up to Stinger, and then it will go down the enumeration task list. Eventually, Stinger will actually analyze the data coming back. Maybe Stinger will. I'm not sure. I might add like an analyzer node. But anyway, Stinger eventually will analyze the data that's coming back and think about, brainstorm, generate new tasks, and then spin them up over there. So eventually the idea is in the user input, we would just say, hey, here's your target, go compromise it. And it would go through and it would play the CTF for us. It kind of is like a flow table, except there will be some autonomy to the agents based on the input and output from the language model, which we're using Claude 3.7 if you were curious. So what I'm doing right now is over here in Stinger, I'm just trying to make sure that it's doing that correctly. So let's see. So it's going to pull our task out of the state table. Let me pull something up real quick from the last run we had here. I think I might know the issue. Okay, so we had it generate a task list. Actually, no, this is correct. So our task list did come back, and we did have a task, a status, and an agent. Okay, cool. So now that we've gotten, so this all should be coming back just fine. Task is a list here. It's unordered. It's roughly ordered. It's going to basically be in the order of what we send it to it. But what should happen is that should actually come from the initializer node. Yeah, so the initializer node is actually going to generate the initial list of tasks and then pass that over to this actual Stinger agent here. Let's see, so we take out our tasks. So state tasks, set up goto, we iterate over the tasks. So this is weird. For some reason, so this task right here should be like this structure over here. So it should be checking if the status is new for each of those. If it hits that first new one... Oh, you know what I just realized? I think... Oh, actually, I take it back. What we did is we checked and ordered the list by agent. And this should say, let me put a note here. This should be recon, and it should go to enumeration. And this is a general flow, right? I'm actually expecting it as we progress and mature this code, it will go between the recon and enumeration nodes as we kind of teach Stinger how to make its own task list, and we figure out how to kind of massage the prompts and let it do its own thing. Let's see. It should go to exploit and then postx. All right, so let's see here. So for some reason though, it's singing this guy. That task is a string. Because it says string object has no attribute get. Let me see if I can put a breakpoint here and let's try debugging it. See what happens. I want to see what comes up in the state table. Oh, we hit the first breakpoint. Continue. Okay, so we hit the next one. I want to take one little step over. All right. So tasks is... Oh, tasks is a dictionary. That's weird. Wait, hold on. What does the state table look like? Blow this up. Oh, that's why. Look at this. So the task list is, for some reason, it's a double dictionary in here. Okay, I think I know why. And that's because if we look at this part here, so when this returns it, I think we're just taking that output directly, and what we want to do is we want to grab the tasks out of there. Yeah, that's what's happening. No wonder why it's all jacked up. Okay. So if we come back up to initializer, let's see. So our ordered list is going to equal a task list. Let me step through this. Oh, what did I do? I clicked something and I don't know what. And I got this little... There we go. Close annotations. All right, let me step through this real quick here. So what's happening is up in initializer, let's see where we're going. Roll up. There we go. Okay, so we get our... Alright, so our LM with our structured output, we invoke it, we send it the prompt for this. Hey Boyd, what's up, man? Hey, buddy. Hope you're having a great Sunday, man. Let's see. Okay, so for tasks in response tasks, and then for agent, if the task agent equals the agent, then yeah, this is why right here. I think that's actually where it got messed up. Oh yeah, because I made it a task list, didn't I? That's okay. That's where this is messed up. Yeah, actually, that makes sense. So yeah, what's happening is we're basically accidentally double keying it. We have a dictionary inside of a dictionary. That's what's happening. All right, so this task list actually shouldn't be used for this. Task list is strictly used for structured output. So I actually don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that a blank array right here. that we can append that onto it, because it should be the task is just a list of tasks. So what we'll do is we'll put the task in. I think that's what we'll do. Okay. So now we do have ordered list. We go through, we iterate over the tasks. If the task agent equals the current agent, and it's gonna, this is the list of the agents it's gonna run through. And we're gonna append that text. Okay. I think that's what's causing the issue here. Try rewrite. Continue. One more step. Okay, so if we come look at the tasks, there we go. Now, our tasks, it should only be 2 tasks in here. Okay, cool. Let's just let you run for a second. See what happens. We're just gonna let it run. Because I'm running it in debug mode, there's nothing to really look at. It's not logging anything to the console as we do this. We can kind of see what it's doing if we come over to LangChain. And actually, we look at this. Oh, dude, it did it! Stinger passed down to Recon, and it's doing the port scan. No freaking way. Let's see. What time is it right now? Yep. That should be about right. That is awesome. Alright, so we're letting the port scan run. Look at this. So we went from Stinger, it passed down to Recon. Recon is doing its thing. Looks like it formatted all the output. I think we hit the end of the run, though. I gotta check something here, and that is, I gotta see if we're returning that back up there. Oh, no, we hit an error. Okay. Wait, line 89 in output formatter? What? What? Blasphemy. Alright, output scripts index. Keyword scripts. Wait, that's weird. Output formatter, so line 89. Hold on, where's our output? Yeah, it should be scripts right there. Oh, it's because there was no... Wait, hold on. No scripts came back? What tool did we run? Hold on. Let me back up here real quick. Oh, look at that. So, for some reason, the script output... Oh, so it missed the script output. Okay. So it did get it, but you see like all the nmap scripting output? For some reason, that did not come back. Whenever we did the output format. Look at this. So those are nmap output format, right? And for some reason, ports, states, services, and versions came back, but not scripts for some reason. So we're making progress. Actually, it got down to the recon agent. I know I haven't put any error checking in here, but we'll have to do that. But cool, it actually did that's actually a really big step up because it did hand off to the recon agent. Nice. So when it says scripts in here, what it's doing, Gumby, is it's talking like the NSC scripts, the nmap scripting engine script output. Because if we come look at where this guy is running, I tell you what, the easier spot to do this is... Oh. So if we look at the nmap YAML, nmap TCP port scan, what it's doing is it's doing a sin scan, but it's also doing attack A over here, so it's doing a bit of an aggressive scan. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was talking about when I said it was doing a script scan in here. But that's fine. It's cool. We should be getting some scripting data back. I think what I might try to do here is... let's look at the code real fast. So this right here is assuming that all that data has come back correctly. There are ways to handle that tool error output. I don't necessarily want to do it right this moment. So let me try something. How do I want to do this? Let me check something over in here real fast. Let's come over to the studio. Okay, cool. So studio has Stinger up here. I could wonder if I can actually take this back. Can I look at this in the studio? Because I can see the trace over here. I know so over here in the studio where I can actually see it visualize running through it and I can see all the data coming out. I'm wondering, I know I can go from here back over to the studio, or to the Langsmith. I wonder if I can go back though. Let me zoom out a little bit so I can get a little more real estate on this. Metadata. Let's see. There's our runtime back. Run. Where is our... what was our user input here? Find common open ports on 127001. So initializer... actually, so this is interesting. Look at this. So we sent this, find common open ports on 127001. Oh, I just realized there's a little bit of a typo in the prompt. I want to fix that. It's missing a line return. There we go. Anyway, go back over here. So we told it where all this is supposed to come from. It built the task list. This is interesting, though. Look at this. This was not what I expected. What I expected was a single task to come back, because we only gave it a single task. Find common open ports on 127001. And then, so we had one task: perform initial port scan of 127001 to identify open ports. Conduct detailed enumeration of services running on the open ports. It didn't do that last time. This is where I was talking about. We're going to have a little bit of fuzziness happening here. This is actually pretty badass. I was expecting this, but it's cool to see it actually come to fruition. All right, that was awesome. I think one of the things I'll have to do is... it's learning. It's becoming aware, Gumby. All right. I think what I want to do is... actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the configuration. I'm going to turn the model temperature down to 40. So what this temperature does is basically the higher it is, the more hallucinations, the more freeform it gets. I'm going to make it a little less freeform here. And then I want to come back over into the studio and see if I can get the studio to run this. That's right. I'm going to restart this real quick. Yeah, he's trying to take over the world. Over to Stinger. There we go. This is cool though, because I can actually we can see it like go from here over to recon. That's badass. Oh, this is cool. Okay, let me see if I can find something real quick here. Where was our initial state for like turn 1? View state table, messages. All right, so this is something that's really annoying though, right? It doesn't, looks like it's not keeping the state table as it comes through completely. That's the part that's annoying. But that's okay. What we can do is we can go build up a quick example. And I did this down here in Recon, right? I built a very simple state table I could just copy and paste over into Studio. So what we can do is, we'll just do the same thing down here. So all we did is we just sent it a base state, which I think actually means we could just run it with nothing. Yeah, everything can just be initialized as blank in here. Actually, I'm just going to try that. I want to see what it does. If I just run it with nothing, it should come over to the user input and get like the base example from the stub code. What's going to happen? Okay, it didn't like it because there was no context key. Makes sense. All right. Let's do the messages. None. Human. Rar. Host. AB. Oh, come on. Oh, it doesn't like it because it wants double quotes. All right, come on. And then for tasks, this is just going to be boop. I'm just filling this in actually so I can get the raw value, and then I'm going to clean it. Context is just going to be another boo, and then next should just be bar. And then, because now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to come over to the raw, and then I'm going to copy this and then go modify. And then we'll have, just like we did with the other one. All right, so messages is just going to be a blank list. Same thing with hosts. And then same thing with tasks. All these are just going to be blank. Context, blank, bar, blank. All right, so now what I can do is I can take all of this, just copy that in. Quick and dirty hack. Oh, that is my life. As node start. There we go. All right, so initializer is making the task list, passing it to the recon agent. Let's see, what was the task list here? Interesting that it still came up with two different ones, one for recon, one for enumeration. It's going to probably error out again because the way it's trying to do it, it's probably going to say, yeah, it's going to say there's no scripts key in here. Which is weird because when we ran this yesterday, it actually was pulling out the script data and parsing it correctly. So I don't know what's changed. F my life. Hey, Hack, what's up, man? Thanks, dude. I'm surprised at how well the handoff between Stinger and Recon worked. That actually has surprised the heck out of me. So I've been kind of happy about that. But okay, so we've run into one issue where I guess we are going to have to check something here, which is how do we handle tool output errors in here? Actually, I'll tell you what, I want to try something different. I do want to rerun this. I want to try doing one other thing. So we turned the We turned that down to 60. I'm actually going to turn it up and let it be a little bit more freeform. I'm going to let it have a little bit more LSD, be a little bit more hallucinogenic, and I want to try this again. Let's see. I think what we could try here, though, actually is... Incoming transmission.
Incoming transmission from X-Hack the Planetax.
I love that transmission sound. I know I have the cheesiest sound effects in this game, but you know what? I think they're fun. Okay, so one thing we could do is we could try rerunning this from here.
Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.
Dumpy, this is why I have trust issues. Let's see. Actually, yeah, I want to try rerunning from there. I want to see what happens. Okay, so it's not perfect.
Fight the planet!
Hey, Band, what's up, man? Hadn't seen you in a while. Speaking of trust issues, so my kids are currently stuck on Sonic the Hedgehog 3. It's like one of their favorite movies. And if you haven't seen it, there's a line talking about Dr. Eggman's talking to Sonic and telling Sonic that he has trust issues. He's like, oh yeah, I have trust issues. You've only tried to kill me twice. And for some reason, Agent Zero thinks that is the funniest damn scene in the whole movie. What's up, man? We're just doing a little bit of debugging because our LLM is returning some data, but it's not quite parsing it out the way we want it. I like what it's doing. I think one of the things we might actually do is do a modification here. The script scanning technically for Nmap is completely optional. That's understandable. Let me check something. We come to output formatters. It's going to be a tech bloodbath in the market tomorrow morning. You think so, Hack? I haven't been watching the market very much the last couple weeks. And I apologize, everybody, for not doing the news streams. I have not been keeping up with the news. I haven't really had the mental faculties to keep up with the news recently. I will start those up, probably not this coming week, but I think the week after. I'll start doing the news streams again. I just haven't been able to keep up with those. All recently, I learned that XML output from Nmap actually has CPEs. Wait, hold on. The XML output for Nmap actually has CPEs? Wait, what do you mean? Like, please tell me you're not talking about, like, continuing professional education credits. Like, you get a CPU... Okay, which CPEs are you referring to? Oh, common platform enumeration. Oh, okay, yeah. I could... So, the only reason why I haven't done this just yet... So, I'm making a lot of restrictions that I don't really want to in here. And that is because I'm letting it just kind of run. I wanted to get the code working. We'll generalize it and we'll back it out a little bit more as time comes through. But what I'm thinking about doing here is... eventually what I wanted to happen is I wanted to have a list of like the hosts and stuff. I'm thinking, as I've been learning more about the model context protocol, that might be something we abstract out of here and put over into there. But I haven't gotten real deep into that just yet. China announced today that they're halting exports of rare earth minerals. Whoop, there it is. That's alright, I'm sure they can use it to build all those giant fake cities that are empty. NASDAQ futures are positive at the moment. Dude, I've watched futures for a very long time, and I can tell you sometimes the futures can be pretty accurate. Sometimes they can be deadly wrong. I was working on a fully automated external pen test solution, but no AI. But I was using the CPEs to match against exploits. Oh, nice. I gotcha. Oh, what are you talking about in here, Gumby? Oh, you're talking about in here. Yes, and the reason for that is because what it's doing is basically the script data becomes a list of strings, and then we have a list of those groupings of strings. So, for example, let me pull this up. So, say for example, from nmap we identify, let's say from nmap we have 22 TCP open, right? And what it does is it tells us it's open and it's running open SSH, right? So for the script output, we might get things like, oh, by the way, here's the key fingerprint, right? Here's the supported ciphers. So when we get all that data out, ciphers, I can spell. When we get all that data out, it basically becomes like a bunch of strings, right? So what we do is we just group these as a list. So each of those just kind of becomes their own string. And then we have a list of these for each of the individual ports. And it just kind of slices through the data that way. So these lists they're indexed together. So, for example, if 22 is the first open port, then the 0 element in this list would be all the script scan output for port 22. Let's say 80 was the second port. Then list index 1 is going to be all the script scan output for port 80, and so on and so forth. So that's the way it should be slicing it up. For some reason, though, between last night and tonight, it has completely stopped processing the script scan. I don't know why. I do have arrays of arrays. I am, it's like, yo, dog, I heard you like arrays. So I put some arrays in your arrays. So you could have arrays. That's exactly how it goes. What I'm wondering, though, is if I can mark this. Let's see. I want to say this. Actually, one thing we might be able to do is just change this description here. Let me look at something real quick. Let's come back over to the trace here. When it tries to do this, so this is, you can see here, this is what it's doing. It's marking this specifically as nmap scripting engine output, which isn't necessarily true. So one thing we could do, we could try modifying this a little bit. What we could say is additional script output for ports scanned. Let me try this. I'm going to try one little modification here. And then we'll try running this again. All right. Submit. We'll let it go through and do its whole thing. So it hits the recon agent. The tool node is what's going to take the longest because it's actually spinning up the Docker container and running nmap. We hit the output formatter. Actually, we can hang out here because if output formatter fails, then we'll start seeing, we'll see the error pop up here. Okay, so it still had the key error with scripts. But if we go back and look at the trace of it here, this is the one that failed. If we look at the output formatter here, here we go. Actually, this was the call to Anthropic here. So we said nmap output format. Let me double check that scripts. Additional script output for ports scanned. It might be ignoring that because it thinks that... Actually, I'm not sure. So here's all of our... Oh, you know what I just realized? That is our tool output. I may want to clean it up a little bit though, because actually it looks like it's just fine, the tool output. Yeah, so it, like, for example, if I come back last night, I think here maybe? Oh, where is it? Maybe we're down here? Actually, it doesn't matter because we can actually, let's come down to this recon run. So we come down to this recon run, right? We hit the output formatter. Very similar output, right? And then when it outputted it, we got all this stuff to it, right? So let's go try changing it. I want to change it to scanme.nmap.org instead of 127.0.0.1. And see, this is how the scripts should be formatted. Like, here's our SSH stuff, here's our HTTP stuff. That's fine. Let's try making that small modification. Let's come up here. Find common open ports on... Yeah. Scanme.nmap.org. And once I save that, I can just go put the state back in. Hop back over into the studio. I'm going to run this one more time. So it hits initializer. Initializer generates the task list. We hit recon agent tool node, output format. Okay, so we got a different error this time. Got a list index out of range. Let's go look at the trace real quick. Wait, what happened here? This is weird. Where did the error come up? Oh, there it goes. All right, so we open this up right here. Let's see. Oh, it picked a different tool. Look at that. Oh, it's because I had an error in my nmap host discovery. See that? That was a custom function I wrote in there. Okay. Well, that's an error with RoboPages. That's not an error with Stinger, but that's fine. We can fix that in the YAML real fast. I'll tell you what, I'll be right back, guys. I gotta run to the bathroom. Damn it, Gumby, it's not poopy time. I'm gonna start putting a little thing up that says people can place bets. Because apparently y'all are obsessed with my poop schedule. And I blame Oni for it, because Oni's always the one. Those y'all don't know, if you ever see 8-Bit Oni in chat, his wife is from Thailand, and apparently it's just really common to ask people when they're going to the bathroom, "Oh, you pooping?" And he thinks it's the most hilarious thing ever. So every time I gotta go to the bathroom, every damn time he asks me, "Oh, you pooping?" I was like, damn it, dude. We could be at Dallas Hackers Association. "Oh, you pooping?" Bro. Bro. Alright, let me go fix this damn YAML file real fast. Let's see. In-map host discovery. Apparently I screwed something up there. Let's see. Cybersecurity, offensive information gathering. So what did I have in here? How should we... What was the error that we got? So the error said only one PS option is allowed, combine port ranges with commas. Oh, is that where I screwed that up? Okay. Let me double check something real fast. Oh, yeah, that's where I screwed it up. Okay. So what happened here is each of these is basically like a different command line parameter. So what should have happened is this should have been 80,443. It should also be 3389. Oh god, undo, undo, undo. Should be kind of like that. Yeah, yeah. And this comes from a port scanning cheat sheet I made a long time ago. And here, I'll copy this over to the chat for everybody. But this was an in-map study that they did that basically said, hey, what's like the fewest kind of probes you could send to find the most reasonable amount? So this little combination of probes here will tell you, will catch roughly 94% of all machines that are live on the internet. So I kind of use this as a baseline, especially if I'm going into like a new environment and it's a penetration test, it's not a red team, and I got to really find out what's out there. That's one of the things I'll do, is I'll come and I will run this to see, hey, what's actually out there in the environment. Okay, so I got to fix that one, and I think PU also needs to be changed, because I think this should be 161 here. We'll take out that one. So this is doing a UDP scan. This is, I think, doing a SYN scan, and this is doing an X scan against 21 right here. Sets the source port to 53. Yeah. PE says also do an echo, but these are all host discovery options in here. Is this code you're working on for external and internal, or just one or the other? It's just for doing like CTFs right now, Band. So like doing try hack me and hack the box, essentially. Eventually, in theory, it could be expanded out for that. I'm trying to make it to where it has a lot of abstraction framework style set up to it. But also, like I readily admit, I suck at coding. So there's a lot of learning that's going into this. And I fully expect that eventually I'm going to have to go back and like rewrite a bunch of this code, because the solution I put in place doesn't scale well, won't expand, doesn't allow for customization, things like that. The code, I don't think the code itself is bad. I think some of the logic and the development process I'm going through is going to have limitations, and I can see some of the limitations, but it's the ones I don't see coming forward that are really going to give me like some pause later on. It's been a fantastic learning experience, though. I've been enjoying the heck out of writing it. All right, I think one thing I want to do here is the recon agent. Oh, let me check something over in the Langsmith trace real quick. Let me check this tool call real fast. It's the called nmap output format. Oh, this one actually didn't work because host discovery didn't work. Let me come back into this trace real quick. Here we go. This one didn't have the script, so let me run this real quick. Let's see. So when we append this all to the context, it is giving us like this JSON here. So there's one minor modification we can make for the tool output, rather than using, when we append that tool output here for, what is this, the output formatter, we can change this because we just need the content value. So let's make a minor update there. Let's see, so here's our tool output. This is... Actually, yeah, this should just be lastMessage.content. Wait a second. When we look at the trace... Something's not mathing here. So we get our last message of content. That seems so weird. Content? Because here's our tool output. If we look at the prompt, right, the prompt it's using is the output format prompt, right? All we have is the tool output here. And this is going to be basically a format string replace. Okay, I'll try that. Just for grins and giggles. I do find that really interesting that for some reason it tried to do the nmap host discovery instead of just doing a straight send scan. I want to do... Let me check one more thing here real quick. Let's see. Used to discover, let's say unknown hosts that could be online and reachable. This description field actually will be sent as part of the data to the LLM, so it can use it in the reasoning model. So let's modify this a little bit. I don't want it to do host discovery if I tell it there's the IP address, go get it. Once your creative dictionary key naming, right? Hey, Cypher, what's up, dude? All right, we'll do that real quick. I want to, let me come up here. I'm going to restart RoboPages. It's been running for weeks, literally. Because what I expect it to do is I expect it to do something a little bit differently. I will run this again, and let's see what happens. Damn it. Got to... There we go. Submit this. Run it again. Turn 11. Okay, we hit the recon agent. Hitting the recon tool node. String indices must be integers, not string. What? Let me open the trace on that. It's trying to wait. It's trying to do host discovery again. No way. What? Host discovery. Action. Perform host discovery to confirm the target is online. Before conducting more detailed scans, it's important to verify the target is reachable. Okay. Get where you're going with this. I just wish you were not quite so precise. Alright, for some reason it's complaining that it says there's more than one PS, but there is not one more. Hold on, I know there's a way to do this. I hate YAML. It's not that I hate YAML, I'm just not super familiar with YAML. I think these commas might be screwing it up. I still have to. Oh, damn it! See, this is why I need you guys, because I'm a dumbass. Okay, we have one PS, we have one PU, one PA. Okay, giggity. Let's restart that. And we'll try this one more time. Yep. Sure enough. I warned you guys. I am not a smart man. I just work really hard. Alright. Let's try it one more time. Run! Oh, I think you can actually submit the state table to like different individual nodes, and I think what happened is it submitted it to them. There we go. All right, so it's down here in recon tool node. Okay, now it's doing the nmap TCP port send scan. Perfect. There we go. Oh, is that what you meant earlier? Okay, I did see your message, Gumby. I didn't get what you were meaning. I got it. When in doubt, YAML's a superset of JSON, so you can reformat your questionable markup in JSON. It'll parse fine. I hadn't thought about that. It's funny. Okay, so now we're getting type error. String indices must be integers, not string. Okay, I don't think it likes that little modification we made up here. It's just weird that the tool content, yeah, so it never gets to output formatter, so it didn't like this. Content should just be that. Try something. Rerun from here. Let me see what happens. Do I need to change the input though? I think so. Yeah, I don't think it likes it whenever we do that. Yeah, output formatter. Go. Yeah. Which is weird though, because if we look at the... Oh, well, it can actually get to that part, which means it don't. Come back over here. Now, that part's fine. I know there's a way to do the time traveling and basically taking snapshots and rerunning it from certain parts. I just haven't learned how that actually runs. All right, so we're doing in recon agent now. Calling the tool node. I wish this did kind of. Oh, there we go. See subgraph steps. Perfect. Here we go. All right, so it is doing the syn scan. It's doing scan me in map org. This should have worked with the host discovery. There we go. So this is how those scripts should have formatted for whatever reason. I don't get why it was, for some reason when we were scanning it with, before, it wasn't parsing it out. We might just have to add a check in here that says, hey, by the way, the output did not contain a script section. So we could either ignore it, or we could go through and we could say, hey, you need to redo this because you didn't parse it correctly. There is a way with the Pydantic models that we've got here in the output formatters. There's a way we could tell it to basically, hey, validate the output, make sure it matches this structure. I just haven't had to do it yet, so that's another possibility of what we could do. So let me check here. So we hit recon, but did it not return back? Let me see. Hit the Stinger agent. Oh wait, this is Stinger, hold on. We go back over to recon. We should have hit the handoff node where it just returns the state here. Recon handoff. Did we hit recon handoff? Odd. Because what should happen is handoff, if I remembered correctly, should have returned this back up to Stinger to let it continue processing it. Let me check something. This is Sofa King. I'm enjoying it, man. I'm looking forward to expanding it out some more. I was been reading more on Anthropic's MCP, the Model Context Protocol. I think in the future that will probably be where I switch it over to, but I wanted to let it kind of evolve and keep working as it comes through here. I have crypto work I'm asking, can I share with you? What kind of crypto work's in? I always caution people against rolling their own crypto because it is so easy to mess up. Would you believe that the first Wi-Fi encryption protocol, WEP, that was actually a really, really strong encryption cipher, but they screwed up the implementation, and that's what made it weak and why WEP was so easy to crack. Yeah, share away, Sin. Alright, this is not telling me exactly what I wanted, though, which was... Oh, here we go. I think what we need to do is return a command. That's what we need to do. So we got to return a command from handoff. We got to tell it, hey, go back to... Think about this. Because in this case, what they've done is they've built a team, right? The team 1 builder here has all these as nodes. Oh, they have the nodes, but they don't have the start edges in here. So it doesn't quite work like I thought it was going to. What I was expecting was basically once handoff happens, it would return it back up to Stinger. That's not apparently what's happening. Is I think we're gonna have to put the command in the recon handoff and tell it basically, hey, pass the state table back over to stinger when this happens. This is using supervisor as tool calling. This is essentially what we're doing right here, using this model. Or this plan of action. So agent nodes can return a command object that allows you to combine both control flow and state updates. So in more complex scenarios where each node is itself a graph, a node in one of the agent subgraphs might want to navigate to a different agent. So for example, if you have two agents, Alice and Bob, which are subgraph nodes to a parent graph, and Alice needs to navigate to Bob, you can set the command graph equals command.parent to the command object. Okay. Gotcha. So what we'll do is... So we can set this to stinger, and we can just say graph command.parent. Okay. I think that's how we want to do this. So I've got the handoff implemented incorrectly, what I'm seeing. So what we'll do is, we'll come back over to handoff. We're going to have to implement this as a command. I believe, did we implement that from LangGraph types? Yeah, LangGraph type. That's it. Yeah, that's what we want. And we'll fill this in. Let's see. Alright, so what's Sen got going on? I'm working on a security enclave in TPM or HSM for NetDev support to go beyond confidential and memory safety, which is below the hypervisor in the kernel. So can you think of when I create VMs in AWS, Intel has TDX instruction for hardware memory security on AWS VM. I want security as well over NetDev to move control from the kernel to the CPU and DMA with the new NetDev. Hold on, let me run through this again. So I'm working on a security enclave in TPM for NetDev support to go beyond confidential and memory safety. So you're going to be below the hypervisor in the kernel. So when I create the VMs in AWS, Intel has TDX instructions for hardware memory security on AWS VMs. I want security as well as other NetDev to move control from the kernel to the CPU and DMA when a new NetDev is attached to the VM. I don't know if... Can you actually do that in AWS? Will it allow you to just execute raw machine instructions on the CPU? Thinking about using a P256 curve because the kernel keyring is vulnerable and move it to the TPM or hardware security module. Let me think about that one. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to... So basically what you want to have is you want to have encrypted data in memory that's only accessible from certain processes. Is that what I'm getting? And you want that to be secured below the hypervisor at kernel level. Let me check something real fast here. So you get the keys out of the keyring because via the key control, and any NetDev can add via the IP2 route or an IP link. This should not be possible. CPU should enforce the NetDev queue creation and enforce and prevent malicious ENI attachment. Gotcha. Look at something quick. I'm not familiar offhand with the P256 curve. That's why I was trying to check something on it. Wait, that's just an elliptic curve, isn't it? Yeah. That's the elliptic curve in there. I mean, but that is the ultimate solution, right? You're trying to make sure that you have a memory, you have a region in memory that is secured, so that if somebody compromises the hypervisor, they shouldn't be able to pull that out, right? Gotcha. I think that would work. I mean, Sin, you're always working on stuff that's like outside my wheelhouse, but just thinking about through the flow for what. Also, keep in mind, my AWS knowledge is still a bit weak at the moment. I've been planning on going through it, but I wanted to get Hackthebot up to a little bit better standard before I pivoted over into it. Ooh, let me think. I think that would work. Don't quote me on that, but just thinking through the steps, I think that will work. And the reason is because if you're able to get the low level instruction execution on those AWS VMs, the way they've got things the way I understand that the AWS has all the stuff kind of partitioned and segmented, I think that would work. The AWS security, at least for the hypervisor EC2 with Intel CPU, is all on Intel. Gotcha. It's the shared CPU, and so it's going to be different. Also, I think if you're using a dedicated versus a shared CPU host SYN, because if you're using a shared CPU, I think you're going to run into other issues there. Now, yes, is that theoretically possible? Yeah. Realistically, probably not, because somebody would have to be able to get onto the same node you are, onto the same physical CPU, like basically the same box, and be able to work on it. A lot of attacks can be theoretically possible, but highly improbable because there's so many preconditions, right? It'd be almost like that picture of the two bullets that are stuck together. If you haven't seen this, let's see. Two bullets colliding midair. This picture right here. This was two bullets during, I think, World War II that collided and got stuck together. This is almost the kind of scenario that you're expecting right here. Think about how many millions of rounds were expended, and these are really rare to find like this, where they get stuck in each other. I don't like AWS offering their flavors of ENI or network interfaces, which is an extension of the OVN. SDN can be easily compromised. Actually, that's pretty cool. That's a bullet through all of these. Yeah, I mean, they're cool for certain things. For other stuff, for like really high security computation, that's why they have a completely separate infrastructure for that, which in theory should make it much more difficult to get into. All right, so what I'm gonna need, to go to update, and then we got to tell it which graph to go to, which would be the command. Okay, I think that should be fine. So let's do this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to, I think this would be Stinger agent. Yeah, so it should return back up to Stinger. And we're going to send it an update. Update would just be the state. Then what was the other thing? The graph. So graph is going to be command dot. I think this will allow it to hand back up to Stinger. That's one of the areas where hardware has no control and the kernel has full control. What, over the or adding the network interfaces, like the ENIs? All right, let me go try this again. Because what happened is we just ended the run here. It didn't actually pass back up to Stinger. Let's go see if it'll work now. Alright, so it's doing host discovery again. Output formatter is going to... We got another error code from that? Damn it. Source port 53. Oh, that's bogus. That should totally work. You're killing me, Smalls. I know this is in here. Yeah. Tac source port. Let's see. So why is it not liking it? Unrecognized options 50. Actually, I think if I look up here, yeah, here we go. Why is it saying this isn't a source port? This is absolutely a source port. It ran just fine. I ran the exact same freaking thing. Come on, man. Look at this. I ran the exact same command line that it did, and it just threw an absolute pitch fit. But ours worked. Wait, what is this one? All ports. For some reason, open is in here twice. Hold on, I'm checking something real fast here. Yeah, there should have been no error with this. Let me rerun this. But we came into... JSON, here we go. Apologize for the flashbang. I think if I drop this in and I do a rerun from here, I didn't like that. Cancel. Take this. Let's see. For Node, I want to send this to recon start. Okay, so we're still getting an index out of range, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I want to see where it's actually causing that. Is the host discovery still throwing an error? Yeah. I make like a dumb mistake in this? I think maybe if I take that space out there, that might work. Okay, rerun this from recon start. No, did it give us the same error again? So for some reason it's saying it's not recognizing source port 53. I was like, that is absolutely an option though. Why are you being a dick? I mean, we could leave the source port 53 off. That's really just for doing firewall bypasses. It's not such a big deal. It's just annoying. For this, what we're doing, it's not really a big deal to do firewall bypasses. Alright, so we still hit it out of range, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but for some reason... we did the host discovery. We actually did, I believe, get data back. Yeah, here we go. This is all good. Oh, recon handoff, we hit a list index out of range. So something's off here. Actually, this is great. Though, look, it did actually parse it correctly. We had no script output. That is fine. It's not supposed to have script output. That's totally acceptable. What we want here, though, is... for some reason, recon handoff hit an error here. So let's go look at the trace of this. Oh, that's a lot of error output. What do we get here? All right, so for async, await, jump. That is a super not helpful error. This is weird, because it looks like it threw an error at the recon handoff. See that? This one was set to working. That's fine. Enum was set to there. look at the entire run here. Let's see what happened. All right, so performs initial scan. It does a host discovery scan, which doesn't super help out, but okay. Got a couple of things open. Let me try. I want to try running this from scratch again, real quick. Let's see what happens. Okay. Just run this from the get-go. Alright, it's still doing the host discovery scan. Did it actually finish? It looks like it went to the enum agent, or at least it tried to. Oh, you know what? It might have exited at the enum agent because we come back over here. Enum was doing the exact same thing. All it was doing was just doing a return. Yeah. We need to update it like we did recon agent. It's got to use this command option here. Drop this in here. We'll do a quick update. Yes. So this is actually going to become our update right here. There we go. So I'm going to go back to the Stinger agent on the parent graph. Update the task from the state task. Okay. Actually, I believe what we want to do is... So I'm mixing these things together. What we should be doing is working... We're getting a copy of the state into this. It's not a pass by reference. It's a pass by copy. So if the agent is equal to enumerate, and if it's set to new, extract the task call, but we're not worrying about it. What we're doing is we're just going to set the status to working. Stop at the first new task. Okay. I think for now, actually, I want to comment that out because what I wanted to do is mark all of those as, hey, I wanted to go through and basically finish off all the tasks once. Yeah, I think what I want to do is make this a little bit more explicit. So take that out. And then, so for the index and task, in the task, if the agent's enumerate, and if the status is equal to new, then what we'll do is we'll extract out the task call. We don't need that right now. What we just need to do is set the task status to working. And then we just return our one update message, which was basically, hey, we're passing it to the enum agent stub. So did we see that in the output here? Let's check the trace real quick. Oh, I don't think we did because we didn't ever return it properly. Hey, but look at this. We did get the recon handoff. That's fine. Stinger agent came through. Yep, so we had a go to recon here for the output. Did we have any output for this one? Go to enum, yeah. But we didn't get anything back from enum because we didn't have the return code set correctly. Because enum agent is really just one thing in here. All right. Actually, I think one thing I need to do is I think we need to make a minor modification here. So in here in our LangGraph Studio config, we need to add enum into this. Do is we're gonna add our enum one, and then this will be our. This should just be enum graph. Oh, we didn't compile this? Whoops. That was a whoopsie. See how we have to actually go build the graph in here? We didn't ever compile it. Enum graph. And that should be enum workflow. There we go. Now we're talking. Okay, so that should be our, which is the actual object we're going to be referencing. Now let's run this again. Interesting that we only see recon happening. This agent. That's fine. Okay, so enum, we do see it in here. We do see stinger. For some reason, I wonder why there's recon. Enum's just the one. Maybe that's why. It's fine. What we'll do is we'll come back over to Stinger. I'm going to try this one more time. And if this works, then we can actually start expanding the enumeration agent as well. Let's see. But this is badass that it's actually passing between the agents now. That makes me so happy. So happy. Oh, very, very happy. It's going to close all of these up. I actually may want to go make a small modification to this. And that modification actually is going to be over here in prompts, where we explain what the different ones do to identify potential attack vectors. Let's see, enumeration actively probing the target to extract detailed information about its components, such as user services, shares, and configurations. Okay, so Recon and Enum are going to both basically be using RoboTool. They're going to be having a lot of overlap between them. So that's fine. Let's just run it. See what happens. Okay, we'll do it live. Alright, so it's going to do TCP port scan, which is fine. We'll let the Docker container run for just a second. Use state. Let's look at the next was Enum. Let's do messages. Oh, interesting. So this is from Recon Agent. No task marked for execution, passing to Stinger. That's great. But then it should have also, for some reason, Enum is not functioning right here. See that? So there's a little bit of a flaw here in Stinger. For some reason, it's not passing to that agent. So let's go take a look at what our Stinger agent logic is here. Okay, so Stinger takes in our state table. It looks at our tasks. So let's do this. So we have a blank go-to line. All right, so for task in our tasks, if the task is new, go to the task agent, break, and then return. I guess we actually don't even need the break. We could just do the return in here. Yeah, I think what I want to do is... Actually, I want to break this up just a bit. Because what I want to do is... I do want to set the next value, but also on messages, I want to have a little bit of... I want a message from Stinger in here. So we're going to do a fake AI message from Stinger. Say, I call that in re. It's our recon router. Let's see. Ah, here we go. This is what we did. Did it just like this. We just defined a new AI method. Okay. We'll call this agent message real quick. And so this will be from Stinger. No task or mark. What do I want to say here? Let's see. I need this to be scoped outside of this, so what we'll do is go to the go-to to this agent, and then Stinger agent, we're going to say yeah, what we'll do is we'll just say passing to, and we'll do agent here. Passing to go to. We'll make this a format string. Yep. So now what we're doing is we're basically just inserting a... We're inserting a temporary message in here that looks like it's one made by the LLM, but really we're doing it. And so in the state table, we should say, okay, hey, we're passing over to recon. Or then later it should say, hey, we're passing it over to the enumeration agent. Whiskit, what's up, man? Thanks for coming online. Happy Sunday. All right, let's see here. So I got to do one more update here. So we'll do an update to messages, and then we're gonna send in our agent message here. This one is a bit weird because I haven't mentioned this. So in the state table, messages is like an append only list. So I can send in just the updates I want. The rest of the things in the state table over here though, right here, this is annotated like append only list. The rest of these, if I set this value, it overwrites it. So what we'll do when we do this is we'll basically modify the copy and then we'll pass back in that original copy. So it becomes part of the, let's call it the master state table. Let's go run this again real fast. For simplicity's sake, I am going to change this back to just scanning 127001. let's go run this again. Okay. So, cool. We're down in the recon agent. Recon tool node. And what it's doing is now it's running the nmap. It's running the nmap Docker container. It's going to do the output formatting. Come on, get the scripts. Get the scripts. Ah, there we go. Got the scripts. Okay. Are we running a different nmap scan? Hold on. Oh no, we went back to the Stinger agent. Okay. Let's view the state table here. What else is that? Okay, so our messages, we had one message from our human, which was find the common open ports on our local loopback. Stinger said, hey, I'm passing this to Recon. Then we made an nmap scan. We got the tool results. We passed it to the nmap output formatter. Recon agent said, hey, I'm done with our tasks. I'm going to pass back to Stinger. Stinger said, hey, I'm going to pass to enum. And then for some reason, enum's state did not get changed. Look at this. So Recon, the status got changed to working. What should happen is once this comes back, eventually we'll have Stinger validate that the task was completed appropriately, and then mark it as completed once that happens. But we haven't gotten to that point yet. So for some reason, the enumeration one is... The enumeration agent, our stub code here is just not working. This is weird because this is literally just one node. It shouldn't really be doing anything. Wait, did we see this in the message history? Passing, actually move through this. Yeah, I know I spelled it wrong. Receiving... Yeah, let's put this. Receiving at enum agent stub. I don't think I saw that in the message list here, though. Am I a dumbass? Hold on. It can't pass to enum because there's no fucking enum node. I'm not a smart man. That would explain it. There we go. Hey, Hardick, what's up, man? Happy Sunday. Yeah, I know you're using enumerate in the enumeration agent and it's not working. I know, right? It's because I forgot to add the nodes in here. So, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build these real quick. So we're gonna have our exploit, we're gonna have our exploitation graph. And then we'll have our postx also. And then we'll have our postx graph. But then I'm just going to comment these out, so hopefully future Blaze won't be such a dumbass and forget about it. There we go. Okay. So the problem is, and I should have realized that right here. So look, this is basically, here's Stinger, right? This is the Stinger one. We see the Recon subgraph here. I don't see the enum subgraph here. There's a reason for that. Because I didn't do it. Why is Python being used in hacking? Because for this particular project, Hardick, it's because it's using a framework called LangChain and LangGraph. And all the AI and ML and large language model stuff, everybody just has a huge hard-on for Python. So that's why I'm using Python. There's literally no other reason than that. I actually don't really particularly care for Python, but here we are. So guys, give me 1 sec. I need to run to the bathroom again because I have been drinking copious amounts of water. But the good news is, when we come back, I think when we run this, we'll actually see the enumeration agent actually come up. Heck, let me try something. If I save this, it should hot patch it into here. Hey, there's our enum agent. All right. Awesome. Okay, so give me like 1 minute. I'll be right back. All right, y'all, I'm back. All right. Let's try this one more time. Oh, so I did see your message in here, babe. So Python in general is a good language to quickly prototype things out, and depending on your needs, is perfectly fine for a lot of tasks. That's true. I mean, Python is great for a lot of different things. It's not performative, right? It doesn't run super fast. And even a lot of the language model libraries that run with Python, they're all really using like C in the back end to try and actually get the performance that they need. So, my biggest issue with Python actually is Python dependencies. That's my biggest one. Oh, I broke it. I don't know what's happening where. It's doing stuff. It's doing stuff. Yeah, Hardik. Sorry, I was chewing real fast. Let's see. What is BCA, just so I'm familiar with it? Because I don't think you mean branch chain aminos. And I get stuck in abbreviation hell sometimes. So I'm a student, I want to build some hacking tools in Python. I made one ransomware in Python, now I want to build something else too to give you some suggestions. I would not recommend writing anything that's going to act as an endpoint attack vector like ransomware in Python. At least not like the actual code execution. And the reason for that is because Python is notoriously difficult to obfuscate. It's very easy to read. It's clear script. It compiles down to bytecode, right? Oh, BCA is branch of computer science. Gotcha. UV is pretty nice for Bandit for doing Python dependency management. Honestly, there was somebody shitting on Docker containers on Twitter earlier today, and I said, hey, counterpoint, Python dependencies are like the ideal use case for Docker containers. You can always randomize the opcode table. You could. I mean, but you're never really seeing malware running in Python. Don't get me wrong. So if it's something that you're wanting to learn, like, okay, this is how us hackers are doing it, yeah, you would totally do that. But like, if I'm writing a new implant that I'm going to send to a client, I am 100% not writing that shit in Python. Their EDR is going to pick that up so fast, it's just going to be nothing but me pissing time into the wind. The problem with malware in Python is that Python is so huge. Yeah, exactly. It's the same problem with Go. Go is a really cool language, but Go makes some dummy thick binaries. I'm talking thicker than a McDonald's milkshake. For some reason, we got an empty human message here, but look at that. We did actually see receiving at enum agent stub. So Stinger did pass it. We did get to the enum agent stub. So awesome. It makes no sense really unless you're desperate. You talk about making Python malware? Yeah. It's like the guys talking about like, I made the most awesome malware ever. It will totally work, and they wrote it in like C#. Like, okay, yeah, you can do some shady stuff in C#. Don't get me wrong, but the real performant malware is not being written in C#. Let's see, C and C++ code that loads the Python libraries to execute a VM. Yeah, you could do that. Like I said, there are just simpler routes, which is like just learn C. Let me update this real quick. Let me see. This will be enum agent. Receiving at the enum agent stub. Oh, I've got to check something real quick. What we should see now is all the tasks. There we go. So our enum task did actually get set to working right there. See that? Boom. Excellent. I'm still here. I'm just turning off the camera because I feel weird eating in front of the camera. The benefit of having an implant that can do Python is everyone knows Python, so it's easy to extend the functionality. That is true. Now, if you're using Python as an intermediary to build something for your function library, that's something different. Executing like raw Python. Whoop. Okay, let's see here. This is badass. So it actually is. It actually is working. So you know what I kind of want to do now? Go back over to the code. Oh, down here in Stinger, we kind of had hard-coded a couple of these. Let me pull up something real fast. Why you bully me? Why you bully me? There we go. You can do things like load modules over the wire with a custom loader using encryption for the bytecode. But the problem is that the Python standard lib in memory is huge. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Python has good use cases. Don't think of it like, you know, hey, when you get a hammer, everything needs to be a nail, right? That's the common adage. All right, so scan the machine, how many ports are open, what type, which version of Apache is running, what service is running on what port. Okay. Oh, man, so this is something you've already tried. I got it. I kind of want to do this again here, but what I kind of want to do is like this. Let's do the testing state, and I think actually what I want to try is, let's spin up this box. Let's go ahead and start the machine up. We'll start this up, and actually I want to see if it can answer like these first couple of questions in here. Well, actually I just realized I'm getting ahead of myself. Enumeration will be able to kind of find this by, because recon and enumeration are going to have a lot of overlap between the two of them. I think what we'll do is we'll start building out the enumerator prompts, and we'll tell the enumeration agent, hey, look at the data in the context, which would be like the host data, right? If you can find the answers to these, then you go ahead and return them. Otherwise, you'll need to make a tool call, and then we'll give it access to robo pages as well. That'll let it make the additional tool calls, say, oh, I want to go scan this box here. GoBuster. OJ would be proud. We are eventually going to use GoBuster. There is our target IP address. Let's drop that in. And let's think about this. So what we're going to need to do is, the enumeration agent is actually not going to be too dissimilar here from the recon agent. I always tell them when I run into some random training or something that calls out GoBuster, you're famous, dude. GoBuster is not bad. I enjoy it. All right, but what we got to do now is we actually got to start building out the enumeration agent here. So the enumeration agent is going to be fairly similar to the recon agent. I wouldn't just go copy and paste the code, though, because that's going to be fraught with dragons. Start right here. Okay, so we're going to add our start. So let's go ahead and... Actually, we're going to copy a little bit of this. I like GoBuster because it's pretty good, to be honest, in comparison to most other tools trying to do similar things. Yeah, I mean, it works well for its purpose, right? Only thing that can make it more fun is if it had recursion. And I think, what's his name? I'm losing my mind. Hang on. Yeah, OJ said, it was OJ, yeah. OJ said, like, hey, if you want recursion, code it your damn self or something like that. I like the idea of Ferox Buster, but yeah, it's not quite as intuitive to me as Go Buster. Same thing with Fuff. I like Fuff, but it could be a massive pain to get all the bells and switches set correctly. I think what I want to do here actually is I'm going to move the recon agent to this secondary view, so I can compare these real quick as I'm running through. Kind of reorganize our workspace a bit here. So we did start with our enum workflow. We have a start over to enum. I think I want to change this to enum agent. So we got this going here. And basically, this is going to have a very similar loop to what we did over in Recon. Right, so if we look at Recon here, this is essentially what we're going to be doing the same way here. So we come over to, we have our recon agent. It's going to have conditional forks to, do we do a handoff? Do we do a recon? Do we do a tool node call? Whatnot. And each of these really is just functions in here. That's how this is working. Hey, Dev. No, don't worry. Dude, I do off topic all the damn time, man. Let's see. What's been a recurrent attacking vector that you have been fighting against or finding difficulty to combat? Really, a lot of relay attacks, believe it or not. Like, if you secured NTLM in your environment, like you enforced SMB signing and LDAP S and channel bindings, things like that, very basic, let's call them Active Directory protocol hygiene, that would really make me sad. Because that takes a lot of my toolkit out whenever I'm inside of a like an Active Directory environment. So a lot of companies, they don't actively enforce signing. They don't do a couple other things. Yeah, pretty much in Microsoft AD stuff. The other most common one, I mean, you've got your typical ones of people not understanding what's in their environment, not understanding where things are in their environment, so they don't know where to patch. So they're constantly having stuff kind of be outdated. And then also just having like weak and reused passwords. I'd say those would be the top three things, is making sure, I'd say, let's say four things. Who put the damn printer on the internet? You joke about that, but actually I didn't find a printer on the internet one time. I found a customer's LDAP service exposed out to the internet with anonymous binds. They were shocked. Yeah, they did not realize that they were accidentally forwarding their LDAP out to the internet. That's why they don't allow internet in the Navy. You know what? You just reminded me of something. Hang on one sec. Let me go see if I can find something real fast. Alright, I found it. Oh. Okay, let me switch views here real quick. So, I got both of these coins at the same time because it was at the same event. So, this was my Black Hat Trainer coin for the last class that I taught out there. And I was really happy to get this because it was the only time I got to teach in person at Black Hat. There were other times I taught virtually. But then I got this one from one of the students in the class. And so that's a Naval Information Forces coin that she cut with a laser cutter into a piece of wood right there. I was like, this is by far my favorite challenge coin I've ever gotten. And so that was a really nice gift to get. And when you mentioned it in the Navy, it just reminded me of that. Well, yes, it does float. Yes. I don't have to worry about it sinking. I'm still here. I'm just still eating also. See here. Do something. I hear. Just before our return from here, I want to change this. What did I call this over here? I'm just going to copy this. There we go. But what else floats upon the water? I don't. Worked in the Navy for a while, had to redevelop a project. They chucked me in a sealed room with a bunch of books from the 80s and said, "You code here." That's a very military thing. I want to say Navy, but really it's just, that's a military thing. Code in the dark. Can I use Google? No. Had to smuggle Wi-Fi routers to have access to documentation? Oh no. Oh, gotcha, okay. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so first thing we did was we went from our start node. Our start to our enum agent. Which I don't think we actually need that necessarily. Actually, we do. Yeah, let's do that in there. Alright, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through our recon router. But then we're either going to hit the handoff or the tool node. So I think what we'll do is we're going to piecemeal these parts over here. This is why we spent so long working on this recon agent, because it was going to be largely the framework of the other agents in here. rename those. And then this is going to be, instead of our recon tool node, our enumeration tool node, which it's going to be the same damn thing here. Build it. Okay, so we're just using a very common naming convention here. Okay. So one thing we can do real fast is we can actually go build the tool node real quick. Where did we do that? This sucker is just buried in here. So I'm gonna actually take this, I'm gonna bring it up. So it's a little bit more recognizable. We're just gonna throw this sucker right here at the top. We're going to need all this little bit of stub code down here as well. Or boilerplate code, let's call it. Because we're going to need our configuration. Support that from utils config. Yeah, that's that. And then same thing with this one here. Let's import that. Tool node. There we go. Because we are going to use each of those pieces here. Come on, just a minute. Okay, so we'll need to go define our router. The router is going to be largely in the same structure here. We're just slightly renaming these. And yeah, could we have extracted this out and made our own little agent and stuff? Yes, we could have. I didn't want to. Because eventually, they're going to be similar, but we're going to modify this. That'll be... Awesome. All right. So I can turn the camera back on. All right. Let's see here. I'm just so happy this is passing the state table around between the different agents. That makes me just ridiculously happy. We need to rename this because that's not a recon router. That is an enumeration router. There we go. All right. So, oh wait, did I not rename this to? Yep, that should be enum. So, we have our enum tool node, and then we have handoff. Which handoff we could actually go ahead and grab because it's fairly simple. Literally, all it does is say, "Hey, we're going to pass execution back to the parent graph." So let's go ahead and grab that real quick. So we do have that portion set up in here. Now, one thing we're going to have to do is when we get to the output formatter, we're going to have to figure this out because Recon right now, just to be perfectly honest, it's not flexible at all, and it's pretty well hard-coded for like processing nmap output. That works for this situation because we're doing, what is it? We're doing a CTF. We're doing a capture the flag, right? You're 99% of the time going to start with it. It kind of works. So that's fine. We can kind of leave this here. What we'll do, though, for enumeration is enumeration should not find, like, additional ports that are open, right? So let's say we're starting with a port scan. We find all the stuff during reconnaissance. Every port that's open. In theory, at least. Maybe we actually want to kind of massage it so that it strategically misses a port, and we can test Stinger to be like, okay, hey, we're missing something. What should we do? Let's go back and get one. Let's see. But yeah, so what should happen is enumeration agent right here, when we do the output formatter, it goes through and it massages it for the host. What we should then do is we need some way to take that data and append it over into where we've been in here. We could throw it into the scripts, like if we find certain things. What we'd have to do is we'd have to do a little bit of data juggling in here. Actually, that's just for the port. No, that's not so bad. Well, yeah, I think we can make this work. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. All right, let's walk through the rest of the graph here real fast. So we got our handoff point done. Enum router. Let me double check that real quick. Okay, so if it had a tool call, we're going to send it to the tool node. Otherwise, we're going to send it to the handoff. All right, cool. Let's see, what else we go after we do our handoff? We go from the tool node to the output format. That's right. So that's where we're going to have to kind of customize this a wee bit. So all these names, oh, we got to adjust these. These are all saying like recon. That needs to be Inu. I think I changed this over here. I did, but I didn't change it down here. This should be our enum tool node. And then output formatter, we can just leave as output. Same thing. Enum. Why? Because it takes too long to type enumeration. Alright, and then we're going to need to grab our output formatter. So this is where we're going to have to actually do a bit of work here as this comes through. For one, I think what we're going to have as a default output formatter, one that basically says, hey, if you don't know what else to do, this is what you use. Parsers. Let me look at that. There is output formatters. Here we go. So we're going to have to see what we kind of want. From our Go Buster. I wish I had saved my notes. I had notes on this a while ago. So if you're working on unclassified stuff, then maybe you have full access to Google and other resources by the NipperNet gateway. So if you're working on classified side, and you tried to bypass with USB routers, you'll be looking at prison time, so probably shouldn't admit to it. remember the rules of chat, guys. First rule of chat is don't hack Twitch and YouTube. That's where I do all my stuff. The second rule is everybody in chat is a fed. Rule number 3 is don't talk about illegal things. See rule number 2. And rule number 4 is be excellent to each other. Hey, Reeksmitty, what's up, man? First rule of chat, there is no chat. The first rule of Hack the Planet is you do not talk about Hack the Planet. What's good, man? Dude, having some fun with some LangGraph. We're building an AI bot to basically play Hack the Box and try Hack Me CTFs. That was not the correct button. Yep, I need that, and I need to import this guy right here. All this. I'll have to import that too. The job market's already too small. I know, right? This is literally just like for a game, bud. So I suck at programming. I'm really good at reading and modifying code. I'm not really good at writing code from scratch. So this is my attempt to finally write a program from scratch and learn how to become a better developer. But also learn this stuff because I'm a full-time penetration tester and red teamer. So my clients are going to start throwing this shit out in their environments. I want to be able to see it. And I say shit with all love and affection. Actually, I've really been enjoying LangGraph and LangChain. They've been really fun to work with. Oh, I gotta import that too. And same thing with our tool parsers. We gotta import that. GoBuster, I think I'm gonna add one more here, and I'm just gonna call it. I'm just gonna make this generic right now. We're gonna call it output. And that is going to be another string. We'll make that a pydantic field. And our description for that is going to be... let's call it found directories. Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's make this a list. List of strings. Why? Because I fucking love lists. That's why. And you guys are always giving me shit about having lists inside of lists inside of lists. I work in multi-dimensional arrays. Right. So that's going to be list of discovered directories. There we go. I'm making an Arduino Wi-Fi spoofer at the moment. Ooh, nice. Dude, I like Arduinos. They're really fun. I'm looking forward to whenever my older son, who's 6, codename Agent Zero, when he gets a little bit older, we're going to start working on some, a little bit of electronics. I actually just did, like, his first introduction to, like, symbolic logic. Hang on one sec here. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. So, this is my son's homework right here, right? This is his homework. There's more butterflies than flowers. There's more snails than leaves. This is what we started with. In the next hour, this is where we ended up. And my wife is like, why do you do this? I was like, he thinks it's fun. He's having a great time with it. We're having so much fun with it. And thankfully, I've got a really good knack for explaining this stuff to him. So, yeah, he came down and what I do is I start really broad, right? It's like, hey, this is what we're doing. But it takes too damn long to say this. So we write it like this. And then we talked about, okay, well, how do these function? Then we built a truth table. There was a progression to this whole thing here. Why do you do this? Because I love him, obviously. Gosh, I do. Honey Badger is a very smart kid as well. He's only shit. How old is he? He's 3 and a half, and I cannot wait to start working on this stuff with him too. Because I'm hoping once I can teach him this stuff, he'll learn. Hey, Daddy actually does know some shit. I sent a picture of this to the professor I had at TCU that taught me discrete mathematics. I'm like, I'm keeping your teachings alive, bro. How it started versus how it's going. God, it's so funny. And he keeps asking me about stuff. Like, he saw a Pythagorean on like some little learning tool I got him. It's got like math equations. They don't really mean much. There's a Pythagorean theorem on there, right? A squared, B squared, C squared. And he's like, hey, Daddy, what are those little tiny 2's up there? Because he knows they mean something. And I was like, bro, can we please just get you comfortable with division first before we start into exponentiation? Please. You're jumping so far ahead. All right, back to what we were doing. So we built out a GoBuster output formatter here. Let's see. I really hope that they come through and they add where I could put this into the YAML file for... I could put this into the YAML here. Actually, it's stuff like this that's making me look more into MCP. Because I'm hoping what I could do is I could define these classes as something in the MCP, bring them in, dynamically generate them like we do the RoboPages tools, and then have it come through and kick ass with it. Exponentiation's easier than division. Ask any CPU. Right. Well, what's funny is I taught him multiplication, and I taught it to him as skip counting. I've been working with him on skip counting since he was like 2. He loves it. And then it made teaching him multiplication dirt easy. And then he asked about, well, how do we do it backwards? Like, well, that's called division. I'll give you one example, but don't worry about it just yet. And then he comes to me the next day. He goes, hey, Daddy, is division just skip counting backwards? I'm like, yes, it is. And it kind of is. So he's playing around with it, and I love the fact that he's playing around with math. He's enjoying it. He's tinkering with it like it's a tool. That's the part that makes me real happy. By the way, for everybody on stream, stamp your damn bingo card. I did mention math on stream. Hey, Mix, what's up, man? I, too, have been an admiral. I used to be a captain, but now I'm Admiral Crunch. Let's see. All right, let me check through the logic of the output formatter here. It should be largely the same, but where things are going to change is this. I think what we might want to do, because this like I realize this is a severe limitation of this. Let me actually look at something real quick. Where's our prompts? Did I close that? Prompts, here we go. Text vectors. Let's see. Focused on port scanning. I'm going to add that in here because I'm going to try and basically push the recon agent into just doing like port scanning and then letting the enumeration agent actually handle, okay, we're going to do Go Buster, we're going to do, LDAP enumeration, whatever else we find in the environment, right? So this part right here is going to have to severely change. I think actually what we might want to do is... Oh, how do I want to do this? Because what I want to do is, in this particular example, I'm going to want Go Buster. I'm going to want to have this output. Because we find like... Shit, what is it? Let me look at something. So we did kind of work on the enum agent. Let me put a note in here. Still stub code, dumbass. And the reason I'm putting that in here is because I'm going to modify this real quick. And that is all this stuff I'm going to leave in here, but I'm going to currently comment it out. Because what I want to do is I want to try running Stinger again real quick while we've got the attack box actually up. So we'll hop on the VPN. We'll actually go run it. There we go. Okay, so 10.10.127.77. So I set that up in here. What version of Apache is running? What service is running on port 22? Use GoBuster to find it. Okay. I was in grade school in the late 60s and 70s where they taught us ZF set theory and different numerical bases at a very early age. I don't know if they still do that, but the catchphrase at the time was new math. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of new math. And I get me wrong, I like some of the arithmetic tricks that they're doing, but really it's a lot of it is, hey, this is a foundational principle and here's just an interesting way to implement. That's really what it is. That's like, and same thing, like they notice that kids don't read as well now since they stopped teaching grammar for some ungodly reason. I was like, hey, there's formats and structures to this language. You should learn those and then learn the exceptions to them. The exceptions kind of prove the rules. I'm trying to think how I want to do this. What version of Apache is running? Let me check something. So from our output here, I don't think we can see the state table. Now, this ages out after a minute, but one thing we can do is we can look at the trace over in LangSmith. So if we come over to LangSmith, we look at the TCP port send scan here. Actually, so let's just look at the output formatter. So if we look at the output formatter, right, we see 8,000 TCP is running. Oh, except this was not scanning the correct thing. Okay, never mind. Let's just go do that. Because what should happen is enum agent, as far as it's concerned, only has the one node to it. So what I want to do is I'm going to run it against the testing state now. So it's going to try and figure all this stuff out. Context is going to be target machine has this address to it. Yeah, let's try. I want to run this. This is going to be a pain. All right. Because what I'm going to have to do is go build this out a little bit over here. It's going to be a pain. All right, we can do this. So what we'll do is we're going to add a human message. In fact, what we can do is we can actually just make this one human. What we'll do is grab these and we'll just grab them. Take this stuff out. All that out. All right, there we go. So we're giving it a list of tasks here, right? So scan the target, what version of Apache is running, what service is running on port 22, and use GoBuster to find hidden directories. So, boom, we've got our message here. Our host is just going to be just like that. It's going to be blank. Our tasks, we're going to leave blank for now because we don't need them. Context, I'm literally just going to put a space in there. And the same thing for next. But then if I come through and I look at the raw version, and bam, this is what we get. So I'm going to copy this out. I'm going to save a copy of it over just to the code. Let's call this blank state. And we're going to try this. We're going to call this the group me testing state. That's not what I want to do. There. So this way, when I want to rerun this again, I'll just have it where I can copy it. Okay. Let's run this guy. So user input should have ignored it. Actually, this one works out pretty well because notice how they've all been changed to working. That's because all these enumeration ones, they just get changed to working because we haven't built into the enumeration agent logic yet. But it looks like that works. Let's view the state of it real fast. Let's see. Messages, let's see. So we had our human message. We're going to pass to the recon agent. I need to perform a port scan of the target. I don't have a specific IP address or host name to scan. What do you mean? That should have been in the context, though. That is not correct. Where was our... That is not correct. Where's our context here? Oh, I'm a dumbass. Yep. I'm a dumbass. This should be the context down here. There we go. Yep. Score 1 for Smooth Brain. All right. Let's try this again. I wonder why I finished that run so damn fast. Okay, so for context, we told her the target machine is the IP address of it. And you know what? I realized I'm also a dumbass because our VPN is not currently online. There we go. Getting into computer science decades later, I found early exposure to different faces to be very helpful. Oh yeah, man. I didn't actually get exposed properly to like how binary works until I was in college, which made me very sad. So we built out the task list. We're going to hit the tool node. All right, so we're doing a port scan against there. We're just waiting for the tool node to the nmap scan to return. We hit the output formatter. that worked. Enum's just gonna deuce out of there real fast, but let's go look at this real quick. Let's do state. Cool, so we have our host, have our IP address, port 22, port 80. So it should be able to answer these questions real quick. Apache HTTP 2429. So that's something else we could potentially add into the future. We could have it say, hey, is this a question? Can you answer it from the contextual data that we have? If not, then you need to call a tool. But so far, I like this. I do like this. Yes. Actually, I tell you what, we'll do that. We will start with that over in the enumeration agent here. Because right now, all of this stuff basically needs to go away. We're not doing that anymore. What we can do is we can take the host data. See, we're gonna have to build out new prompts for it because we don't have any enumeration prompts yet. What we'll do is we'll build out the enumeration prompts, and it'll say, "Hey, answer the following questions if to the best of your ability. For questions you cannot answer, you can make tool calls to do X." Yeah, I think that would. Peaches is sleeping under my desk right now. It's her favorite spot in the whole house. Alright, that's what we'll do. Let's do that first. So we're gonna have to. The prompt is really the basic unit of execution. Actually, let's take this back. What I want to do is we're gonna copy the recon prompt template. That's the one we actually want to use. Make this our enum prompt template right here. Enumeration. Enumeration. That is the name of the game. Right. So let's see here. So you are an expert cybersecurity agent specialized in network reconnaissance. Your primary job is to perform tasks defined below using the provided tooling. Additional context may be provided and should be taken into consideration. All right, so let me change this. Your primary job is to answer questions. So, say, damn it. Questions. Answer questions provided or perform tasks defined below using the provided tooling to answer the questions. All right, a little bit of prompt engineering here. I don't know why I keep hitting tab. There we go. So additional context may be provided and should be taken into consideration. All right. Let's see, responses. For answering questions should be, let's see. We'll do question, answer. This is the question being asked. And then this what we'll say is the answer to the question. And I don't know why I made that A capital. There you go. Answer to the question. And then what we'll do is we will say what did I say up here? Let's see. Responses for calling tools for additional information, yeah, should be in the form. Responses for answering questions should be in. Actually, we'll say should follow the form. Follow this form. Alright, so this is basically what we're doing is we're building up the system prompt first. So this is like the instructions, but the user prompt is, hey, this is all the data we're sending into. In fact, I just realized there's an error with this I wanted to. Your primary job is to your primary objective is to complete tasks defined below using the provided tooling and context. Because what I'm going to tell it here, I'm going to tell it, hey, what I want you to do is, yeah, we can take out the context here. And we're not going to add a question segment in here. We're going to say, address each task. If it is a question, you answer it. If it is a task, then you execute it. That's what we're going to tell it. Hog Musketeer, what's up, man? Happy Sunday. Let me read through this again real quick. You're an expert cybersecurity agent specializing in... actually, this shouldn't be network enumeration. This should be... I can't spell enumerating. Enumerating. Networks and computers. Yeah, man, I had a pretty good day today. A little down, but not bad. Just doing a little bit of fun with some LangGraph code. Holy shit, I just realized what time it is, and my wife's going to yell at me very soon here. Your primary objective is to complete the tasks defined below using the provided tooling and context to provide answers. To provide answers. That sounds weird. Your primary objective is to complete tasks defined below using the provided tooling and context to provide answers. The answer is not in the context. Perform use tool. Yeah, use the provided tools. Tools to obtain the information to answer the question. There we go. So what we should, in theory, do with enumeration is it should look at the scan data we've already got. It should say, okay, can I answer this question? Okay, yeah, here's the answers. And then if it can't, it'd say, okay, but here's the tool I can use to get the answer. And chances are we're probably going to have to revisit this prompt before now. This is just my first swag at it. Responses for calling tools for additional information should be in the following form. Let me copy this. I want this stuff right here. Actually, I'm going to bring this down here so I know exactly where this prompt ends. Okay, so we gave it all the instructions. Responses for answering. Questions should follow this form. Responses for calling tools for additional information should follow this form. Bam. All right, so we have our list of tasks, which can be either a question or like an actual task to execute. And then we have the context. Bam. Okay. So once we've got this going, what we'll need to do is... That's actually going to be up here in our enum agent. Yeah, right now this is just our step code. Look at the recon agent. What did we do for recon? Yep, this is our recon agent. So what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Actually, before I get any further in this, I realized I have not committed any of this code. And we have made an ass ton of changes. So, what was last we did? Expanding Stinger and Recon agents for handoff and structured outputs. Yep. We'll just commit that up to GitHub right now. Push. Boom. Because it is working. It's just very the enumeration agent doesn't have any execution logic right now. It literally just marks the task as, hey, we're good. All right, do one more thing. What did the to do? All right. The to do list. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say like this. Is that how you do checkbox? Forget how you do those. Screw it, that's fine. So what we'll do is we need to do this. So for Stinger, what we're going to need to do is we need to add some stuff. So for Stinger, we need to add checking completed tasks. Yeah, that's what we want. Let's say if completed, set task status to completed, or whatever it's called. Oh, is that how we do that? Okay. Yeah, that's actually what I wanted. Perfect. Let's see. So that was for Stinger. I think that's actually all it needed right here. So next one would be over in enum. Let's go ahead and set this up. Let's see. For enumeration, we need to finish implementing large checks in enum agent. And then last thing is we gotta build out the graph. Complete. There. Those are the main things we gotta continue with right here. So Stinger, we need to. Right, I don't like that. Let's do that. There we go. That's better. A little bit of markdown. So we'll set these up. Finish implementing the logic checks in the enumeration agent. Complete the graph. Okay. So I'm about to take all this code out except for this return command. Actually, I think even this one. Now the return command actually is over down in the handoff function. Yeah. So we've got that. We're good there. So really, we take this recon agent. We'll bring it over. We're going to delete out a bunch of stuff out of it. That's what we're going to do. We're going bye-bye. We're going to be replaced with our code from Recon. That's our enum agent. Okay. This will be get our enum prompt. Oh, we got to input that. Cool. Let's see. This needs to be changed to enum, though. All right, so if the task agent equals enum, then what we'll do is, if the task status is new, meaning it hasn't been executed yet, we'll set that as the task call. Set our state here. I think what I want to do actually is it's fine. We can leave it. The way this is originally intended to work is basically each task would get its own LLM call up to Claude. I'm thinking instead what we might do... No, I think I'm going to leave it like that for now.
Caution. A virus has been detected.
S1Y_B0RG virus detected in the network.
S1Y virus. What's up, Sly? How you doing, man? Welcome in, Raiders. Unfortunately, I think we're about to finish off. Hey, Shy Hat, what's up, man? Yeah, because I just noticed the time, and as it ticks closer to midnight, I'm in Texas, the probability of me obtaining life aggro goes up very rapidly. Exponential increase. Yeah, man, we're actually I'm having a good time because this little tool that we're working on here is actually working great. So we're doing building a little hacking bot in LangGraph, and so it's making calls out to an LLM. It's running things like Nmap. We're about to have it start running GoBuster to do some other stuff, but all these different little agents are passing around between each other, and it's working great. And I'm so happy that the handoff is working. Yeah, the wife aggro is real, man. It's like she cares about me and actually wants me to get sleep and shit. You know, how dare she? So, yeah, a lot of fun. I've been enjoying this. I think the enumeration agent's not going to take very long. We spent a ton of time on this recon agent, which is funny enough because all it really does is run Nmap for the most part. This little hacking bot is meant to play CTFs like Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, other ones like that. And as we start basically pushing it to do more and more complex labs, we'll start expanding it some more. Right now, I'm just trying to get it to do the most basic of examples in here, which I thought I was going to get to tonight, but then I just realized we've run out of time. Because particularly this output formatter, I really need to go... I'm going to have to clean it up. So it's going to be a little bit different as it comes through here. So, all right, let me check something real fast here. And while I appreciate everybody coming in, unfortunately, I really do have to wrap up. If you want to take a look at what we're doing this root meat challenge on Try Hack Me. It is one of their oldest and simplest ones. So let's see, is anybody else over on InfoSec streams? No. By the way, I haven't plugged InfoSec streams in a while, but if you like hacking and cybersecurity stuff, there's lots of great people that stream on here. You can just pop in during the day. It'll show you who's live. Usually this time of night, it's just us. So, not such a bad thing, but I do wish more of my hacker buddies actually were like late night folks, so I'd have somebody to raid out to. I'm trying to get more folks in Australia to stream. I need like my folks in Australia and over in like the Middle East to start streaming. Last man standing. That's right. Usually that is the case. I used to, before I had some live events come up, I used to stream 6 nights a week, and 99% of the time it was just us up late at night. There was one fella, gosh, what's his name? Axe Hobgoblin. He's in Florida, and he would be on a little bit later, which is funny because Florida's an hour ahead of me, so he's on even later than I was. Let's see here. What do we got? What do we got people working on? By the way, I totally take raid suggestions, so if you have somebody that you really like and they are on right now, let me know so we can go raid out to them. Give them some love. Oh, thanks, man. Dude, you know what? I just came across it because I was watching Pirate Software and he said, hey, you can use this music for live streams. I'm like, sold, man. I get so tired of dealing with DMCA BS, of trying to find music just to use during a live stream. It was such a freaking headache. So I've got a few other songs added in there, but I think probably 80% of the playlist is from Pirate Software. Let's see, who do we got online right now? Dadson Prime is on. He's playing Fortnite right now, but he's hilarious. Let's see, Nerduino, he's on. He's always good for some space stuff, space shenanigans. Let's see, who else do we got here? see if there's anybody else doing it. You know, Hypnotic Gaming's on, and he's a fun dude. I might just go right over to him. Actually, let me see what this person's doing. Let's see. Live code Twitch chat. Okay, this is actually pretty hilarious. We'll go ahead and raid over to him because I like what he's doing here. It looks kind of funny. A lot of streamers use copyright on YouTube. Apparently, the consequences is that your VODs get muted. Yeah, but I stream it over to YouTube also. So I don't want to have to deal with YouTube's BS. YouTube is basically the archive. I like folks being on there. You just get a little bit better interaction on Twitch. But anyway, guys, that's unfortunately where I've got to wrap it up because I do have a very busy day tomorrow. Otherwise, I'd say let's do a late night stream. But this is cool, though. The bot's coming together. We're able to get the code passing back and forth. We can begin actually building out the other agents. So, everyone, I hope you'll have a really badass week coming up. Kick-ass. Tomorrow is Monday. Remember, who's going to carry the boats? Red team. Who's going to carry the logs? Blue team. In the sim. Probably with Splunk. So, everyone, I hope you'll have a really kick-ass week. Thanks for coming to hang out. We'll have some more coding fun. I think I'll be streaming on Tuesday like normal. I don't think I'm going to do the news. I don't have the mental faculty for it right now, honestly. Starting probably the week after next, we'll kick back up on the news on Tuesdays. But that's all I got for you guys. Oh, wait, I forgot. There's one more thing. I love you. Peace.